If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it. You've got to understand that you've already got it. Use your imagination. See yourself already in possession of the good you desire. That will flip your mind onto a specific frequency. And you do think on frequencies. It's on that frequency that good you desire is going to start coming toward you, and you will start moving toward it.
The energy of money vibrates at the same frequency as self-love. And if this sounds like nonsense to you, let me break it down. When you love yourself, you don't tolerate trash environments, you don't chase people, you don't settle for less. You don't spend money to impress, you invest money to progress. That's the same energy that attracts wealth. Because money doesn't go where it's needed. Money goes where it's respected. And people who don't love themselves, they blow it, reject it, repel it. So if your money's low, check your self-worth first.
Then when you think about money, money is really an idea. You say, that's money. No, money is an idea. It's manifest on paper. Now, paper used to be wood. It didn't seem to make sense. Well, you alter the vibratory rate of the energy that's called wood, and pretty soon it's called paper. And then you put ink on it, and now we call it money. If it can be neither created nor destroyed, it must already be here.
If you make the effort to sit down and design a new life, and you make it the most important thing, and you spend time every day feeding it like a gardener feeds a seed, you will produce fruit. It may take some time in the beginning, and it may take some time in developing the art to control your mind from all the things that it needs to do. But most people stop because they look for the results in their world after a small amount of effort. And when they don't see those results, they immediately discount its possibility. And yet, right on the other side of that is the potential still existing. We're lazy as human beings. If we don't get our quick, immediate fix on what we need, we're impatient. We should be willing to sit down and take a piece of our day and set it aside and give thanks that we have life, and then begin to design a new possible future for ourselves.
Money is energy, and energy can never stay stagnant. I see this law where people make money and they are so afraid to spend that money. They're so afraid to circulate that money back into the economy. They're so afraid to release that energy, and they're living in such scarcity mindset that they just end up losing it all somehow. Or they may not lose it, but more money never flows to them. Money is energy. It's inflow and it's outflow. And that doesn't mean that everything that comes in must go out. No. In fact, especially in your 20s, you should be saving and investing majority of the money that you make. But never hoard that money, because if you do, the money becomes stagnant and you have cut off the flow of energy.
If you want to attract what you actually want, you've got to see yourself now already with it. And know it's only a period of time until you moving toward it and it moving toward you, and you become one with it.
Everything changed for me when I understood this philosophy. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever, starting age 25. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. Then I started working hard on myself to qualify. Success is something you attract. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you can multiply your value by 3, by 5, you can easily multiply your income by 3, by 5, by 10. But the key to doing it is to work hard on yourself. Be responsible, be a growing, attractive, powerful, skillful, communicating human being, and the world belongs to you.
Money is not our issue. The mindset of money is our issue. If you don't have a mindset for money, then trading stocks and options wouldn't be the game for you, because you're not going to know how to manage your risk. You're not going to have the discipline to be able to stay out of the market when necessary. You're not understanding money in its totality. So when you got the mindset of money coupled with the skill of making money, this is what equals a wealthy person. This is what allows a person to be able to build wealth throughout their generations.
Anything that you can actually think and feel that you are worthy of must come to you. Anything that you can honestly think and feel that you deserve must come to you. Anything that you feel you do not deserve, that you're not worthy of, you automatically cut yourself off from that good.
I would say the number one reason The number one reason to be an entrepreneur is not about money. The number one reason to be an entrepreneur is personal development. And if you're not developing personally, you're going to not make it as an entrepreneur. Let me put it to you in dollar and cents. You know, there's a lot of people who can't make $1,000. And the reason they can't make $1,000 is because mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, they're not capable of making $1,000, whatever the case is. For many people out there with a $1,000 problem, they're not going to solve the problem until they personally develop themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to be bigger than a $1,000 problem.
Money does not exist. Did you know that? I learned that years ago from a very wealthy man. I was free from money that day. He says money is an idea. It's in your head. It's an idea. You are supposed to work for purpose, not money. If you find your purpose, money will find you. If you're not in your purpose, you haven't found your purpose, you're still working for money. Money's your boss.
What would you tell a 20-year-old who wants to become a millionaire?
I'd say take the money out of the equation. Focus on one thing only. Try to find something you do very, very well. And then practice the hell out of it until you become very, very, very good at it. And then you don't have competition. And money automatically comes with being the top.
The ultimate realization that brings money to you, here it is. I am money. Whatever you add to I am, you become. Whatever you add to I am is added unto you. Let the weak say, I am strong. If you don't understand that, you will think that you're being told to lie. What does it mean? That is the nature of the law. If you say, I am weak, the Lord of the law will give you weak.
Focus on what you want, but don't try and tell the universe how it's going to happen. Don't tell them I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. I go, no, you just focus on what you want. The intelligence of the supercomputer, the subconscious supercomputer, it will handle it unless you put your hands into the machine. I say, keep your hands out of the machine. The body knows what you want. You don't have to tell it how to get there. That's a big issue in our lives. I want to be successful. How? Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. And I say, you're putting all these details in. It's like, no, don't focus on the details. You forgot what the end was. Let go of the control.
Money is just a reflection of the energy that you're living inside. It's a reflection of the value that you're bringing to the world. When you look at money from a perspective of love, of you wanting to give yourself, your family, your friends, and everybody that you love a wonderful experience called life, then you look at it from a different perspective and you say, you know what? Man, life is beautiful. I want to live an incredible, beautiful life. And that means that I want to live life on my terms and I want to do what I want. So that means that I have to unravel myself. I have to work on myself. I have to heal myself. And I've got to get myself into a space where I could find my true life's purpose and I can offer that purpose to human beings. And in exchange for that purpose, the energy exchange is called money. You see, that's a much different perspective. It's a healthy perspective.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe. When you believe, everything is possible.
Why is it that people are successful? It's simply this. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Why? It's because the rich think about wealth and affluence all the time. And what do the poor think about? The poor think about lack, loss, and limitation, risk, danger, fear, failure all the time.
You've talked to everyone in the world who is successful. What would you say is the one common characteristic that you find gets people to where they want to go?
People get to where they want to go because they know where they want to go.
Oh, wow.
And most people don't know where they want to go. Most people, a lot of people are going and being driven by what they think they should do,
right,
what other people say they should do, what they have carried in their mind for a long time they should do. But the most important question you can ever ask yourself is, what do I really want?
Wow.
And the answer to that, once you can establish for yourself what the answer to that is, and have everything you do, every choice you make, move you in the direction of what you say your vision is.
Right.
Yeah. And when you do that, the forces of life rise up to meet you. The reason why most people have such chaotic lives is because they're living in chaos in their head. And as soon as you get clear, it clears up.
What come out your mouth is what's gonna come back to you. It's the law of attraction. All men are dogs. You finna meet all of them. I never get nobody. You're not. I can't lose this weight. You sure ain't. I'm gonna get fit this year. Strong possibility. I'll never be rich. Promise you, you won't. I'm gonna be rich one day. Strong possibility. It's how it works, man. It is the law of attraction. The moment you say it, you begin to change. It's the process. If you think big, you'll be big. If you think small, you'll be small.
The law of attraction says this. It says that whatever you think about, focus on, fantasize about, worry about, talk about, attend to, watch on TV, listen to on the radio, you're going to create more of in your life, especially those things you feel intense feelings about. So when you're talking about how bad it is and you're not feeling good about it, and you're really upset about it, and you're down in the bar, talking about how terrible life is, what I call the Ain't It Awful Club. People go there after work to the Ain't It Awful Club and complain about how miserable their life is. And when you do that, what happens is you actually create more of that because you're sending out a vibration. And that vibration is your thoughts and your feelings that are the result of those thoughts. And so we have to become conscious of our thoughts. We have to become conscious of our feelings. We have to become deliberate thinkers, deliberate creators.
You can manifest absolutely anything that you want in this life, but you've got to deeply, deeply imagine it. You have to imagine you are there. You have to feel the feeling of where you are, smell the smells, listen to the sounds. You have got to trick your mind and body into believing it is real. It will put an imprint on the universe and it will pull you towards it.
You cannot have wealth in your material world until you first visualize the wealth in your mind.
If you get a picture of what you really want, then it's just a matter of time until you have it. They keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. So all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not.
About 5 years ago, I met a wise and wealthy man who had spent his entire life studying success. And he'd reached a clear conclusion concerning the reason for success in life and especially in business. He's dead now, but I'll never forget what he told me. He said the key to success was to set a goal and then to stay with it until you achieve success in at least one important thing. He said that your subconscious mind will then accept that success experience and store it as a pattern, like a template. And then from then on, your subconscious will drive you and direct you and guide you to repeat the pattern of success in other things that you attempt. Another way of saying it is that nothing succeeds like success. Psychologists have demonstrated that achievement brings you a natural high. Once you've experienced your first great success, then not only are you unconsciously programmed to repeat it, but nothing else will ever give you the same wonderful sense of satisfaction.
Don't tell me that positive thinking doesn't work wonders. So what do you want to be? Ask yourself that question. Don't dodge it. What do you want to be? Don't doubt it. Believe.
You cannot have what you're not willing to become vibrationally. If you do get it, you'll lose it. This is why people, they'll win the lottery, they lose everything. They'll get a modicum of success but can't hold on to it because inside they weren't vibrationally aligned. They really hadn't become it. So you can temporarily manipulate and get things, but to have it completely, you have to lift your vibration and become that.
The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. People misunderstand that. They think the law of attraction is being obsessed with what you want. But no, if you want something, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. The universe will reflect to you what you are. And Beckwith calls this the law of resonance. So you got to become that which you seek to be. Now, lofty questions works because it's actually getting you there. So when you ask a question such as, why do I have the fit muscular body of an athlete? You're tricking your subconscious by shifting your identity. And you will find that the universe will start to reflect that. If you ask yourself a question, why am I so kind and compassionate to everyone around me? Or why do I only eat healthy foods? Or why am I so brilliant at being an entrepreneur? You're shifting your identity at a fundamental level, almost like self-hypnosis, and the universe will start to reflect that. And your life will start accelerating and changing at a really rapid pace. This is actually the most effective manifesting technique I know.
When you realize how powerful your mind is, you can create anything you want. This is the goal, the main thing of being alive is learning how to create. And now when the veil is thinning, we're moving into this new earth, we're into the shifting, we're bringing all these abilities back. This is what you're supposed to learn how to do. This is your movie. So you are the producer, director, an actor in your own play. You're also the script writer, but the script isn't written. It's written as you go along. You can change it anytime you want. You can create anything.
You know the only difference in steam and ice is the state of vibration of the water or the H2O. Do you know the only difference in where you are versus where you want to go is your state of vibration? Do you know that everything to get you there is already here, and it always has been? Do you know when you take an idea and you impregnate it over and over again, you impregnate that idea into one cell. When you impregnate that idea into the cell, that cell is dividing 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, and the process goes on at the rate of 50,000 cells per second. And the more and more you act on it, even though you don't feel good about it, but you work with the idea, you start to develop this change in vibration. But what is really happening is you're impregnating the cells with the characteristic or the idea. What we need to do is we need to constantly think about where we're going, what we want to do, and we start to increase our level of thinking by vibration, and we begin to attract thoughts of a like nature that'll move us in that direction.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. It absolutely does. Understand you attract what you are, not what you want. You can't expect to get something externally if you haven't cultivated the energy that aligns with that internally. And that's why you need to first start with the relationship you have with yourself.
I will attract into my life what I am, not what I want. And I am capable of attracting all things that the source is capable of attracting. You get what you are rather than what you want. You can't go around and ask these divine beings, angels, whatever you want to call them. You have to become like they are. When you become angelic, when you become a divine being yourself, when you are giving, when you are serving, when you are in that place, they will come to you. Put that into your imagination. I am well. I am happy. I am content. I am fulfilled. Even if your senses tell you that you're depressed.
You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, what you're in vibration of. So if you want abundance, you need to get to a place where you understand your abundance, and everything comes into your life the second you finally don't want it. It's not don't want it like avoiding, like you don't need it. The second you stop looking for it, you don't even remember you wanted it. That's because you have to access the fulfillment of the connection to yourself.
How badly do you want what you want? How badly do you want it? Or do you want it at all? You see, there's an awful lot of people who want an awful lot of things. But how badly do they want it? If you want it so badly, if you want it with tremendous intensity of desire, there's really nothing in the world that can stop you from getting it. There's an interesting story was told about Socrates, and Socrates was talking to one of his students, and the student said, I am hungry for knowledge. What can I do to increase my knowledge? And Socrates said, knowledge is something that is readily available and easy to get if you want it bad enough. He said, I'm sure I want it badly enough. And Socrates said, come with me, and he walked him offshore into the ocean, and walked him offshore into the Aegean Sea. And they got about 3 or 4 feet, and Socrates, a very, very strong man, grabbed the young man and put his head under the water. And the young man began to struggle and struggle and struggle, and finally became incredibly frantic, and finally brought him up. And he said, now what did you want while you were under the water? And he said, all I wanted was air. He said, all I could think of in the whole world was air. He said, when you want knowledge with the same intensity that you wanted that oxygen, you will get all the knowledge that you could desire. And when you want anything with great intensity, if you have the desire, you'll get it.
Your friends are shit. They tell me you made 25 grand last month, they're not gonna believe you. F them. Parents don't like the life you lead? F you, mom and dad. See how it feels when you're making their excess payments.
Set a goal to become a millionaire. Here's why. For what it will make of you to achieve it. Set a goal that'll make you stretch that far. For what it will make of you to achieve it.
Money flows to the hands of people who, A, have higher levels of energy, lower levels of procrastination. Procrastination, what's the inverse of procrastination? Is energy. A lot of people procrastinate just because they have low energy levels.
If you want to unlock your potential, if you want to go straight to the stars, you have to use the law of substitution to keep your mind on what you want. Use the law of concentration to dwell continually on the results you desire. Be solution-centered rather than problem-centered. Be goal-centered rather than loss-centered. And the law of subconscious activity will begin to adjust your words, your actions, your feelings, your emotions, and everything to the point where you will draw into your life the people and circumstances that will harmonize with it. Now, what's the most powerful thing you can do? It's very simply this, is Success begins with taking purposeful, systematic control of the content of your conscious mind. Purposeful, systematic control of the content of your conscious mind. Everything comes back to the law of control.
If there's something that you really want in life, then if you think positively about it, or you believe in certain vibrations of attraction in the universe, then you can bring that thing into your life. And manifestation is bringing into reality something that you want. It starts with abundance. Now, in the brain, we have the strongest gearing that we have in our brain is called loss aversion or loss avoidance. And that was the survival mechanism from when we lived in the cave. So we had to want to avoid loss more than we wanted to get reward. Once you're feeling abundant, then if you can be really aligned in your head, your heart, and your gut about what it is that you want, then that desire, that motivation will keep you going and, help you get the things that you want that you might have given up on.
We don't get in life a reflection of what we want, because what we want we lack, but we always get a reflection of who we are being. And who we are being is representative of our vibration, how we're thinking, feeling, and acting. So becoming aware of those three things and becoming aware of where the attachments are from childhood, where the attachments are from the past, is where the freedom really begins. Much of my journey has been just becoming aware of these attachments, letting them go. Once you let that go, things naturally begin to align. And as a result of that alignment, there's more synchronicity. You're in the right place at the right time. You're feeling higher vibrational emotions where you could literally feel high a majority of the time without using substances. And once you're aware that that's a potential, then becomes a game of what can I let go of?
You become what you think about. And here's the interesting thing. You can choose. Choose what you think about. Choose. With your business, choose what you're aiming at. With your leadership, choose what you're aiming at. With your team, choose. Help them choose. The act of intentionality is so freaking powerful. It's unbelievable. Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. I am amazed at the things we don't do because we have this little tiny bit of fear that offsets all the other data and all the other evidence in our life that causes us to not go do something. Because we just don't believe. And it's weird. When you start to believe, you become what you think about.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. I have found in my experience that income does not far exceed personal development. Now, sometimes income takes a lucky jump, but sure enough, unless you grow out where it is, it'll usually come back where you are. Life has strange ways. If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly, so you get to keep the money. Otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Incredible.
I feel like a lot of times we see exactly what we are in the world around us. In some ways, I think that we attract what we are. And that's not just to say, like, if you're a bad person, bad things will happen, like in a karmic sense. And it's in a sense that, how you feel about yourself is often proportional about how you feel about the world. I find that the more happy people get, or like the more sad people get, it's kind of like a positive feedback. You get happy, you find more things to be happy about, you stay happy. And then certain life events happen, certain things happen that kind of get us and sway us from that path. And we get into that negative loop where everything becomes negative. And what I'm saying is that choice needs to be made. You have to decide or realize, be conscious enough to realize when you're in those negative cycles.
Never say you can't do it. Say, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. And that's true with everything. It's like, there's nothing that you can't do. You may not have done it yet. We don't know if you can do it or not until you really practice. And then you find out if you can do it or not, or how well you can do it.
Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development.
A negative mental attitude can bring you nothing but failure. Remember always, you are where you are and what you are because of your mental attitude in which you relate yourself to other people. Remember also, your mental attitude is the one and the only thing over which you have complete control. Success is something which has to be planned, and success is something which has to be earned.
Anything that you can hold in your mind on a continuing basis, you can be, have, or do. You will become what you think about. Your only job is to make a very, very clear decision about the person you want to be, the things that you want to have, the goals that you want to accomplish, and then make sure that you feed your mind continuously, day by day, week by week, hour by hour, with words, pictures, images, ideas, thoughts, and information consistent with your goals and your ideals. About 85 to 95% of all of the influences in your life, all the reasons you do anything, is because of suggestive influences around you. Not only physical suggestions, the weather, the heat, the cold, and so on, but also the emotional suggestions, the impact of the people you associate with. And the more you associate with people, especially people in your family, people in your close social circle, people that you work with, the more you associate with these people, the more of an impact they have on your thinking and on your future. Question, who do you identify with? Now, whoever you identify with today, one of the things you have to ask yourself is, who would you like to be like? Who do you want to identify with? And then you start getting around the right people. Keep your mind on what you want, keep it off of what you don't want, and everything is possible for you.
Here is a terrible word almost everybody uses concerning money that you need to wash right out of your vocabulary. Never again say spend money. Spend means it's gone. I've gotten rid of it. I'm not going to see it anymore. As long as the thought is formed in your mind, spend money, you are dismissing money from you. I prefer circulate. To circulate means what? Return to point of origin. See, this way you've always got a hold of your money. It never gets away. It circulates. It goes over there and pays your light bill and comes back and brings more with it. All of the money that I use returns to me multiplied in a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment, thank God.
One of the fastest ways to create something in your physical reality is to reverse the normal process by which we create things. Usually we create things first by thinking about it. I think I'll go to that party. And then we say something about it, as in, Matilda, I'm coming to your party tonight. And then we do something about it, as in showing up at the party. Here I am, just as I said I would be, because I thunk the thought this morning. Okay? That's generally how we produce things in our reality. In fact, everything in this room was once a thought in someone's mind. There is nothing that was not once a thought in someone's mind somewhere. But if you want to really play tricks with the universe and create magic with the stuff of life itself, reverse the thought, word, deed paradigm. Turn it upside down and start with the deed. That is to say, act as if. If you want to experience abundance, be abundant and do as abundance does. Therefore, if you have only $5 left to your name, go to a store and get them transferred, made into singles, and take 5 singles and walk down the street and give a single to each of 5 people who have even less than you do. And by the way, you will find those people very easily.
It's crazy because I used to tell myself at 14, 15, like, I'm going to be a millionaire, like, I'm going to own that. Like, I used to, like, going, like, not even hype, like, thoughts for hours, like, if I had money and shit, like, what I do, how I do this. And it's crazy because, like, now it's like, that's my life. Like, scary almost. Like, real deal. I remember, like, being on the train going to school, like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, I'm gonna have a car, I'm gonna be driving down that street, I can see myself. Then I actually, like, came and did it, like, crazy.
If I want to attract a lot of money, I gotta see myself with a lot of money. I gotta mentally accept I've already got it. I don't let my bank account dictate that. I choose that. Choosing myself to see myself with the good I already desire, I'm on that frequency. Now the trick is to stay on that frequency. Most people look at the results and they let the results dictate the frequency they're on. That's why they keep getting the same results. They have the image in their mind. They're already reached the goal they want. They're already successful. And somebody else comes along and says, well, you haven't got those results. In my mind, I have. But they're not looking in my mind. They're looking at my present results. And then pretty soon I start listening to them. I think, God, they're right. I look at my results. I haven't got it. You see why we keep getting this poor result? You've got to see yourself with the good you desire. You've got to hold that image in your mind. You've got to know it's going to come.
Your subconscious mind hears what you tell it to hear and sees what you make it see. For example, if you're constantly thinking, I'm tired of being broke, your subconscious mind will prove you right. It hears, I'm tired and broke, and it works all day and night to make it true. Your words are spells. That's why you spell words. They're magical. Your tongue can slay you. Hold it if you don't know how to use it.
Stay small enough long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough. See you at the top because the bottom is too crowded, but we never look down on anybody unless we're willing to help them up. Believing that you can is way more profitable than believing that you can't.
Successful people are always too busy doing what the other guys are still talking about. Successful people are always willing to do what the other guys are not willing to do.
Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich.